Hello, Terry.
How's it going, Galen?
Good. How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah. Got all your computer stuff taken care of?
I hope
Can't
so.
talk.
That's a pretty complicated setup I have down here with it. I've got a
Running back and forth
big
Yeah.
long
to the
board.
courtroom into my office, into the courtroom into my office. Don't you love how it says Burns Mill Public?
You're on audio, Amy.
I've got a running through a whole bunch of recording stuff, so sometimes it gets a little confusing.
Right, right. So you're still recording quite a bit?
Yeah, I'm still playing with 3 or 4 different groups and doing a lot of recording.
Excellent.
How have
Were
you been doing?
I've been doing all right.
Been going out and doing some boating?
Yeah, it was a busy summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we took the boat out last Monday. It was good. Not this Monday, but the last Monday.
Oh, okay.
So it was like 80 degrees out there. We took the boat up to Grafton. It was nice.
Sounds good. I haven't been up there in a long time.
Yeah.
Hi, Mary.
Hello, Mary.
My speaker isn't working.
Ah,
We'll just wave.
you're muted now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can
Yes.
you guys hear me?
Yep. I can hear you. The Burns Mill Public is the one in the courtroom, just so you guys know.
Okay.
In case somebody from the public needs to come in and get on Zoom, because some people don't know how to do it or can't do it.
Ah, right.
So I set it up in the courtroom so that they can come in and just jump on it if they need to.
Okay. Doing any in-person meetings yet up at the courthouse?
Not yet. We probably will start doing that maybe once a month, I think the mayor said, once we get city administrator hired.
Okay.
So where have you guys been playing, Terry?
Just at different guys' houses. Everybody I know that I play with has their own studio. And one day I'll go to one guy's house and play at his studio with that group of guys, and then we'll go to a different studio.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of different groups. We don't play out too much anymore. I don't have any desire to go out and play in public too much anymore. I did it for a living for a long time.
Trying to think of who that is.
I don't know who it is.
Everybody else.
Somebody's got some feedback.
Mhm.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
we got some feedback there.
All right, just a minute. I gotta leave.
I just submitted 2 cell phones and then it started happening.
Oh,
So whoever the last 2 cell phones, I muted one of them to see if that would help.
well, I think they were both muted before.
One of them was not.
Oh, okay.
The, one of them I muted, but that might have been it. I don't know. But it's not doing it now.
I think Bob is the 784 number that ends in 784,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
but I don't know who the iPhone was.
Mary, you're muted.
Hey, Amy, could you give me permission to record?
Yes, I sure will.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes. we can
Yes,
hear you.
All right, I guess I'll have to go in on my iPhone because my computer isn't working. When I had both of them on, you were getting that feedback, so.
Oh, yeah, that was it then.
You should be able to now. Caitlin, Mary. Hopefully.
Well, I wish I could get the agenda. I'm gonna try something else here.
Well, I don't think we ever got the minutes from the last meeting.
We didn't. We'll get them to you. There's been some other stuff going on, which we'll talk about more in closed session, but we did
Okay.
not get to. We will.
Right.
I don't know. Is Bob and Glenn coming?
I haven't received any messages that they weren't coming.
Rob is doing some work thing, and he told me he might be like he was booked solid till 6:30, so he didn't think he would be late. But
Here's
Bob,
Rob. I just let him in.
oh Rob or Bob, yeah, but we still don't have a quorum, so.
And what about Cindy?
Yeah, I don't know about her either.
Hey, guys, I got a note from Glenn. He said he's running late. He will be here, he said in about 15 minutes.
We're still 2 board members short of a quorum, so.
I can call Cindy really quick.
Okay.
Who else are we missing?
We're missing Robin and Bob and Cindy and Glenn. So it's just you and me, Mary.
We can do it.
You're gonna have to vote twice.
Right.
Did somebody call Bob Prado?
I think Amy's calling him now.
Hmm.
Do we have anything that's pressing if we can't have the meeting tonight?
Well, we can still go through the meeting. We just can't have any votes on anything, so we can discuss warrants and go over some of the new business. And Steve, Frank said you'd have a full breakdown of all the expenses of the police department for the entire year.
Exactly. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's
We're gonna have-
great.
We're gonna have to wait till the next meeting on that. We gotta get some more information. It's not quite put together.
That's fine. Thank you for joining, though. Glad to see you here.
Well, thanks for having me.
If one day you become the chief, you get to do this 2 Wednesdays a month. Look at that.
Looking forward to it.
There's Sergeant Kraft. Oh,
Hey, Greg.
Cindy said that she's having issues connecting. It just keeps like circling. So she's gonna X out, try it again. And
Okay.
then I guess I'll call Bob real quick.
Awesome. Do you want me to go ahead and start the meeting? And we
Yeah,
can
that's fine.
add
The
them in.
most of the, I don't even think we got anything to really vote on. That's
Nothing
too-
too pressing here. So let me.
Oh,
get-
yeah, it's just IT contract. So yeah, that's fine.
All right. So let me rearrange my screen again so I can see everybody. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the Burns Mill regular meeting of the Board of Alderpersons for October 19th, 2022 to order. First of all, I'd like everybody to please follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the
Allegiance
flag
to
of
the flag of the United States of America
and to the
and to
republic
the
for which
republic for which it stands.
a
one
nation under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty and
with
justice.
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So next round is roll call. So Galen Harrison,
Here,
Mary Shebley,
Here,
Robin Harris is excused, and Glenn LaVenture will be late. He did mention that, and here comes Cindy. So hello, Cindy. Oh, she's still connecting to the audio. Hello, Cindy. They're unmuted you, Cindy. Good evening.
Okay,
So we're just going through roll call. So Cindy Davies.
here.
All right.
Hallelujah.
And we're still searching for Bob Prado. And Cindy, I mentioned Glenn LaVenture is going to be a few minutes late. So at this point, we can't amend or approve the agenda, and we can't review the minutes or amend and improve the minutes from last meeting since we don't have a quorum, but we can go on down to the warrants on financials and review those. So hang on a minute, let me get to that. So this is a much better looking warrant list. I like the format of this. It's much easier to interpret and see what we got going on here.
That's the new online report.
Oh, this is nice. So this isn't exported into Excel and then manipulated. This is straight out of QuickBooks.
Yes, it is, but it is exported into an Excel. And
Okay.
then, but it comes over really nice. And
Yep.
so if there's multiple invoices to the same vendor, that's why you see the other numbers, yeah, like that one. So
right
there
there.
was 2 checks to that one. So yeah, nice.
What does bill mean here under check where it says bill?
So it was put in as a bill to
Okay,
pay, and then it grouped them together and just printed 1 check.
I see. So it accumulated all of these costs into one check. I get it.
Yes, yes, it automatically does that when it's going to the same vendor.
Okay, so this first line here is the total, and then
Yep.
this is the subtotal. feeding to it.
Correct, because it was, one was Public Works and one was or they might both be Public Work or Police Department, but they had two separate invoices, so that's why they're in separately.
Okay. And like down here on the House Springs discount muffler, we had the number 3 truck repairs, which I believe is one of Bob's trucks that he was getting brakes on and other stuff. And these two
Yes.
guys are Frank's.
Yes, and we're trying to put like PD behind it for Police Department and then PW for Public Works.
Okay. And then I also noticed you've got some ARPA designation.
Yep, yes.
That's
And
awesome.
that's, I believe, for the Police Department for Frank's.
Okay. But is it that going to designate as we have payments that are ARPA funded that we'll put an ARPA in there at some point?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I guess the HVAC's been installed down there at the shop. At Public Works.
I think so, but as Bob's not on here to answer, so I haven't got to talk to him much this week.
Thought that was Bob online here, the 636 number.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's
It's-
been installed.
Just
How
in
does it
time-
work now that it's been
time for
cold?
heating. Yeah.
You had a chance to exercise it?
Yeah, it's been going. We just leave it on a set temperature and let it do whatever it needs to do, whether it heats or cools.
Mhm. Seems to be handling the room fairly well.
Works real good. I can isolate the back and the front, 2 different temperatures.
Good. Are you still gonna have to heat the main open garage area there with just the other heater, or?
Yeah, we use those diesel fuel heaters to keep that warmed up a little bit.
Yeah.
'Cause
I'm
there's
sure
no
in
insulation in the building at all.
January it'll
so-
get fairly cold, so.
Yes.
I'm scrolling down to the next page here.
So the total amount, like on that 2024 F-350, that is not going to come out of our general revenue fund, right?
Which one are you referring to, Mary?
The
Went back to
350 ARPA, Public Works, 10,112.
Yes, it comes out of the ARPA funding.
So when
Okay.
we offer the 50,000 for the warrants, that's not added into that total.
No, it is added into it because it's broken out into our chart of accounts. So all of the warrants will go on one spreadsheet, but it's pulled from separate chart of accounts. So it automatically does that whenever we enter it into the system. But you'll
So
have
when-
the total.
When we, are we staying within our budget on these issues? Are we gonna have to transfer money from different departments to make it all work out? Seems like the police department is spending a lot more than what we had budgeted for, so we're going to have to get some money out of a different account for that.
As far as what, Mary? What, like back up here with the,
Uniforms and the cars and the
oh, the
repairs.
uniforms, yeah, aren't too bad. The Tahoe thing up here.
Yeah.
That's just repair. And
No, I mean the Defender thing, that 10,000 for Defender
Mhm.
Product Solutions, $14,678.
Well, that'll be coming out of the ARPA funds, though. That's not
It's
gonna
out
be
of-
coming.
Right.
yeah, it
Oh.
may be included down here in the $50,000 of the 50
Oh,
grand
okay.
here.
Right.
That 7,000 or 14,000 is included, but it's gonna be paid from ARPA funds.
Right.
So
So
That's right.
basically, yeah, there's about 24,000 coming out of ARPA funds out of that 50,000. So
Is that accurate, Amy? Or
Yes, what you guys are saying, yes. I mean, I could run like a separate report once to tell you how much was spent out of the ARPA funds total, but I'm just not there yet.
Yeah,
Understand.
That's
and
all
just
right.
as an FYI, this, we'll talk a little bit more about that QuickBooks in like, it's next, I think, but we are not fully ready with QuickBooks. So Amy will be able to do more in the coming weeks than we got. Actually, I'm surprised she was able to get this done today. It looks great.
Yeah, sure does.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
so this is
can
good. This is just showing everything that we're paying for in this warrant list.
Right,
whether
in
it's
this
coming out
period
of
of time.
ARPA or whether it's coming out of the Burns Mill Fund.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So can we approve the warrants without a quorum?
We don't have a quorum at this point,
Can't
right?
vote. Yeah.
Can't vote on it, but at least we got to review it. And
I'm gonna try to call Bob again real quick. And Glenn's coming late, right?
yes,
Okay.
So when Glenn comes in, can we go back and vote on it
Yeah,
then?
we'll go back
Yeah.
to vote
Okay.
on that. He
right.
said he'd be 7:30 or 7:45. So,
Okay.
Yep. All right. Here's Glenn now. Look at that. So
Oh, good.
that was quicker than anticipated. So
Okay, we can include him right in the middle of a vote. How's that?
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. There he is. Hello, Glenn.
Oh, hello, Glenn.
Glenn?
So Glenn, we were just reviewing the warrant list here. We weren't voting on it. We were just reviewing it.
Okay,
It's in a sort of a new format. Amy was able to get this out of the new QuickBooks that they've gotten, and this is just a first pass at it, but it looks much better than what we were dealing with before. Some of the entries you see on here, for instance, the Defender products, this line represents the summation of these two because there were two separate invoices submitted for work they did. So that's why it's up here like that.
okay,
Also, ARPA is the designation they're using. So whenever we have something paid out of ARPA funds, an ARPA indicator here, excuse me. So total of our warrant list for today is $50,135.52. Now, that's not all going to come out of the city funds because some of that, we've got 14,000 up here from ARPA. We've got 10,000 here from ARPA. So there's 25,000 right there. That's not going to come out of that 50 grand. So, and Amy was saying, as we go forward, she'll get a little better with this and we may be able to have maybe two lines here. One, a total aggregate summation of that, and then the city liability line or something like that. We'll see how that works out.
okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'd like to see that ARPA as a whole separate.
Or at least maybe down here at the bottoms. We sort of have to present it together because the way chart accounts is written, but we could have subtotals here, down here, city liability, ARPA liability, and then total.
Yes, that is a work in progress. So it will be separated soon. Just with the migration from the desktop to online, it's been a little bit challenging and we're doing payroll too right now today.
This is a big improvement here. So you've done well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So Glenn, do you have any questions on any of these expenses?
I do not. I apologize for just sitting down and I haven't had a chance to review anything prior. And I do not have a printed copy of the agenda.
That's all right. I'm sharing it here, so hopefully you can see it. So I guess at this point, can I get a motion for the warrant list in the total of $50,135.52?
So moved.
Second,
Yeah.
Galen,
Aye.
Glenn,
yes,
Cindy,
Aye.
and Mary.
Aye.
All right. So now let's circle back up here. So we skipped a couple items here, Glenn, because we didn't have a quorum present, but now that we do, we need to, is there anything we need to amend to the existing agenda or can we approve it as submitted? And
We
that's
can we can approve it as submitted, sorry.
okay, that's all right. So can I get a motion, please?
I'll
I
make a
move-
motion. Go ahead.
I'll second.
Okay. Galen,
Aye.
Glenn,
Yes,
Cindy,
Aye.
Mary.
Aye.
And then item 5, we had amending and approving the minutes from, I would assume, the October 5th.
Amy
2020.
doesn't have those ready.
Yeah, we don't
yet.
have the minutes. I'm
They're not
sorry.
there.
We'll do 2 of them next time.
Okay, we'll strike that off then. So we've looked over the warrants, recognitions, proclamations. I don't think we have any. So we'll move to item 8, old business, online QuickBooks. So
Okay, online QuickBooks, we have moved to online. It took longer than we expected because of the IT issues that we have. We are struggling still to do payroll on QuickBooks. Some of that, more on that in closed session, but basically that desktop system was just so archaic that the transfer was not smooth. So we are working on that. The monthly cost, just so you know, so the first year we get 50% off of what it would cost moving forward. And I don't know that we're necessarily going to stay with QuickBooks when we switch to a new software program. So we may only stay with them for a year or so. So keep that in mind. But anyway, the amount is $162 per month for the subscription. And then it's $10 for each employee that we pay per month. And then at the second year, it'll be twice as much because we get 50% off that first year. But again, like I said, it may not matter because we're going to switch over to that software at some point, but we had to make the change in the short term because we couldn't use that system anymore.
Elsa, didn't you mention we have multiple versions, old versions of QuickBooks?
Oh, yeah, we've got multiple versions. We got multiple logins. And there's calculation problems with it. So like, it's not accurately calculating PTO. And I'm not sure if that's a user problem, user error, or if it's a program problem, or both, frankly, at this juncture. But nonetheless, it was just a mess. It was a mess. And so we aren't really spending a whole lot more than we were already spending. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but Amy, do you know what we were spending before?
They are trying to look into it because they think that we are paying
Okay.
for duplicated services.
Yeah.
So I think
So
we
we
had
don't-
like 3 subscriptions and something like that. So we might be saving money for the first year. I don't know, but they're looking into it.
So that's the cost on it. And like I said, it's up, it's marginally running. Amy's going to finish up making the transition tomorrow, and then we can discuss that a little more later.
Okay. And QuickBooks is, I think, fairly standard software that a lot of the smaller cities run for their financials and payroll. So it's not like we're way out here on a limb doing something
No.
odd.
No, QuickBooks is a fine system. It's not particularly geared towards governments, but it's completely fine. Like, there's no issues with this version.
So just nice to get off desktop and into the 21st century to where you can call user support and talk to somebody. So
Yes.
Without
Okay.
a translator.
Yeah.
all right, any other comments or questions on QuickBooks? Okay, and then moving on to item 9, new business. Item A, we have PS Enterprises polo shirts.
So this was something that came up, and I'm not even exactly sure how, but we don't have any like polo shirts for our staffs to wear, like, out on the field, like Bob and Dan, the new code guy, as well as like when we're doing things like the fall festival or national night out. So we called around and found out this is a local-ish company. I think it's out of Union, Missouri. We can order them in bulk, and they're roughly $20 a shirt, depending on if they're long sleeved or short sleeves. And we wanted them just to say like City of Burns Mill. So we'll get better quotes, but we just wanted to mention it to you to see if that was something you were interested in. But I think it will help make us look more professional when our employees are like out servicing the community. And we can even get them for the board members and stuff, like if you guys are doing your clean stream or whatever it may be, it just makes us look nice.
Oh, it sure does. Yeah, I think it's a great idea and it's sort of
Okay.
a way to do that. Well, we'll certainly.
Don't
wanna
we
look-
have any leftover Burnsville shirts? Are these different
Those are t-shirts. Yeah.
t-shirts? Yeah.
There's some in the HVAC closet there. You can have as many as you want, as long as you want a small or medium. So,
Yeah, we can get those out too. These would be polos. They would look a little bit nicer. They can wear them to work if they want, so.
will it
Okay.
be an embroidered graphic or will it be an ironed on?
Screen print.
It depends. They do different kinds. So we're gonna get some quotes from them to find out. And we need to do kind of a count. We were waiting for Frank to get back because I don't
Okay.
know, like the police have their own shirts, but like technically the bailiff shouldn't be wearing his uniform at court. Like they may need one for that, so
Sure, yeah.
we need to get an overall count and then we can get a better price point for you.
Okay. Steve, is
prefer-
this a company that you guys use for your little badges? I know you got a badge you're wearing this month for.
Yeah, that's through a certain company that he goes and gets the badges and patches from.
Yeah.
I know there is one local that's down by, I think it's Price Chopper or Steve's Pawn.
Is
that-
is this Precision Graphics and Signs, maybe? Or is that PS Enterprises? Is that somebody else?
I believe, don't quote me on that, but I believe that's for the striping of the blue Tahoe,
Okay,
the graphics on it.
all right.
Yeah, but we can definitely check with Frank to see where they get their shirts and if that's a better deal. The only input that Frank had early on was that he doesn't want that like hell yes shirt. He wants them to be cotton.
Right.
So that was his thought. So, but yeah, I'll definitely talk to Frank next week
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, because he had the badge or this done at one point in time. Sorry.
Yeah.
Here, I'll hold it here. Maybe we'll see it. Yeah, that. So.
I did look in briefly where he orders his uniforms from to see if they had any like polo shirts that we were looking for, but it looked like it was more geared towards all police officer related stuff. So the PS Enterprises actually came from Dan. He's the one who suggested it. His company before used to order for them and they were cheaper in bulk and local.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why we went with that one, because it was hard to find one local.
Okay, great. Well, we'll look forward to more information on that.
Perfect.
And I always thought it would be a nice idea to have the alderpersons wear shirts identifying themselves as alderpersons at things like National Night Out and the Fall Festival, things of that sort.
That
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Yeah, I would agree. You know,
And
when
that's what Dan and Marianne were saying, that like when Dan's shirt needs to say like code enforcement, just so people feel more comfortable when he's on their property. So he looks professional.
Well,
Yeah.
and at least saying Burnsville in it because, Dan and Bob go out and do inspections and do stuff and people don't know who they are. It's just some guy out there creeping around in your property. So I think it will it's just a professional stuff that we should do. So we'll get
Sure.
all the information and find out, because we may need to get this shirt somewhere and then have them embroidered somewhere else, but we'll find all that out.
Okay, great. Okay, then item B, ICC certified.
Yes, so this is for Dan, our new building inspector. ICC is the International Code Council. So that's actually what he's inspecting for when he goes out to do inspections. And it provides a lot of just education for him, especially since he doesn't really have exactly a mentor. He's not coming in with somebody to show him, like Bob and Frank can do as much as they can, but this is a professional organization. So we had discussed this in the past. We went ahead and signed him up for the 3-year membership. It was heavily discounted, so it's $348. And then all of the classes he would take, and those will be spaced out over a course of time, are about $120 a piece. There's 3, but he'll have to study for them and take them over time. So he's working on getting signed up for that first class and getting the study material. But this will really be a big improvement in our code enforcement, and it also will allow him to testify like credibly in court because he has the correct credentials and certificates. So like if we did have a large situation that went to circuit court, he would be qualified as an expert to testify. So it's a big help. It was something we needed to work on. Dave didn't want to do it. So anyway, we've got that going.
Okay, good. That sounds like a good plan.
And then, okay. And then yeah, where are we? Legislation.
So legislation unfinished. I don't believe there's anything. So moving on to item 11, legislation new. We have resolution number 2022-604 up. We don't need to have a reading. We can just have a discussion and a vote unless anybody has any questions.
This is what we talked about at the last meeting, correct?
Yes, this is the IT, that's the actual contract. So we discussed going with that company and then they sent the agreement over, which I did review. The only thing that is like kind of noteworthy for you is that, I mean, this is a low risk litigation contract. But if we litigate, the losing party is on the hook for the other side's attorney's fees. Also the jurisdiction on the contract is St. Louis County, which is fine. That's where they do business.
Mhm.
And I don't know that it would make, honestly, it won't make any bit of difference on a contract case, you know, so anyway, you just needed to be aware of those things before you sign the contract, and I can take it back to them to ask them to change that. I'm not particularly worried about either situation, but you needed to have it brought to your attention.
Can we afford this thing?
Yes, this is ARPA funding that we can pay for this with. So
Oh,
We
okay.
also had an IT company, so like this was an expense we were already expending. It's just slightly more. However, we
Yeah.
have to get this IT system updated because we can't support QuickBooks or any other software without updating it. And we don't have
Okay.
any cloud space and we can't log onto the internet.
and it
Okay.
benefits us from the MIRMA perspective and insurance.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Right.
that's one of the key
Right.
pieces here. We've got to get this in
I
place.
just kept
so we
looking at
can
all these
lower our-
figures and it seems like a mountain. Anyway,
I mean, and
Well-
I will be straightforward with you. We are spending a lot of money right now. A lot of it's ARPA funding. Some of it may end up coming out of the reserve and a budget adjustment. But these are things that are necessary to make this office function. Like we just can't function without internet.
I
Yeah,
understand. Yeah, exactly. Right.
we just can't afford not to do it. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
That's
All right.
exactly.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there's certain upfront costs, but there's
Yeah.
there's a monthly cost that's going to be about, $3,800, $3,700
Right.
on a monthly basis. So
Okay.
And that's still cheaper than having a IT person on staff, so.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
these are
Way.
professional guys. They work for other cities, so they can take a lot of what they've learned in their other, interactions with other customers and apply it to us. So that's one benefit
Okay.
to
Okay.
both ThrottleNet and St. Louis Compute or whatever the other company was. They both had serviced or do service, governmental organizations. So
Okay.
these guys will really help, and we need this. We've gotten very lucky. I feel with not having any type of ransomware attacks or anything like that. But like I told them, there's nowhere that without a central file server, we're sort of safe because they couldn't figure out where to find a ransomware bug anyhow. So, but
Okay. All right.
and they're putting a firewall in for us, and a firewall is something that helps protect intrusion and allows us to control things better too. Well, one of the things
Okay.
that I know we're a professional organization here and that we have the police department too, but when you have just raw internet available, you can go anywhere on the internet. I mean, anywhere. So you, as a companies, Galen, you can talk about WashU and Glenn, your company, we have internet usage is limited on sites you can go. And so it's very important to understand that. You put the city at risk if you go to certain websites. So I'll just say that.
Okay. All right.
So it's very important. So, all right.
Okay.
Moving on to item 12, administrator report. Allison?
You do need to vote
Well,
on.
yeah,
that.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
We need to
Sorry,
vote on
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Vote, please.
I'll make
I
a
make a-
motion
Go ahead,
to,
Cindy.
to approve resolution number 2022-604.
I'll second.
Mary?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Glenn?
Yes.
And Galen?
Aye.
All right, very good. Thank you. Thanks, Allison, for catching me there. So
No problem.
now we'll move on to item 12, administrator's report.
Me again. Okay,
Yay.
so just kind of briefly for open session, I attended the EDC meeting this morning. EDC is something that we will probably ask to join. I talked to Rob about it. They're the Economic Development Council for the county. We've been in and out of their membership for a number of years. We are currently not a member. Today they had a meeting to like unveil the new development project that's coming to the Festus Crystal City area, that Project Redbird. So I attended that meeting. It was a nice professional presentation. I did it virtually, so it wasn't, you know, I didn't go, but it looked like it was well run. I've also spoken with Todd Tracy, who's the director of the EDC. Him and I are on the tourism committee together, and he's helping us in another city with a project. They're looking at doing a community development project, and what they want to know is, you know, what other business will this bring in? And so he's working with us to develop, you know, what businesses we could bring in and what that looks like. So I think with our eye towards growth, that will be a really valuable asset for us. Anyway, I have not gotten a final bill, like a invoice for him for what the cost will be, but I'll bring it to you. I believe it's $3,800 or $4,200 a year for the membership.
And how many people can attend? Is that for one person or is that for multiple?
I think it is for the city administrator, and I know like the mayors got invitations as well. I don't know if it's all the board members, but I think it's the governing body and the, you know,
Okay.
whoever they designate. All of the other cities and city administrators are on this board. They're all involved. So I also think it will be a valuable networking tool for our new city administrator to meet those people when he or she comes on. So
Yeah,
I'll bring that to you.
Yeah, I think we were the only city, I think
Yeah.
DeSoto was the other city that wasn't part of
They're
this.
in now, so it's just us.
Okay,
So
so it's
we're
just
all by ourselves. Right. I
No,
know
I
my
think
dog.
it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea.
Okay, yeah, when I get the final breakdown, because Todd was kind of busy with this big unveiling this week, so I will touch base with him to make sure I get that. But I think it'll be a good thing. He also said they're looking for a new place for an airport, and Burns Mill is a fan favorite, so keep that in mind.
Right.
Okay, and then the only other thing I had, and I guess this is a little more from my attorney report, we are talking about an ordinance to limit the time frame in which construction can happen. And so we have talked about this a little at staff meetings. What they want to limit the permit time to is like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or dusk, whichever is earlier. That was what staff had kind of recommended. I didn't know if you guys had other thoughts, if it's something you're interested in, but I wanted to get your feedback before I drafted an ordinance.
They can only do construction on the building within that time frame.
Outside construction, like they can do electrical or whatever, whenever, like any time of day inside the building, but anything that you're going to be running a saw or making noise outside, it would be limited.
But 8 a.m. is what you're suggesting?
That's what staff had suggested. I am flexible, you know.
Yeah,
We
I think 8 a.m. may be a little bit late, especially during summertime.
Well,
when you're-
during getting concrete, if you specifically you're pouring a foundation, a lot of times if it's big, you want to get the first load out so you can start getting the walls poured and that. And that's typically 7 o'clock or maybe pushing it 6:30, but I'd say 7 would be reasonable. I know we tried to do that with the trash. I tried to, I think we put that in that they shouldn't be running before 7. I think they're pushing the envelope on that a little bit here and there, but I understand they got a lot to pick up and they're trying to do a fine job, which they are.
Well, we could also put in there that they could request special hours. So if there's something specific that they need, you know, like to do, we could allow it.
Yeah, but
But
then that's
7 is
something else
fine.
we have to do, trying
Yeah,
to
I
get us
think-
out of the what we have to do program.
Yeah.
I
no,
think
you're right.
7 is more than reasonable for construction.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
All
and grass
right.
mowing, so.
How does
I will-
that follow our existing noise ordinance?
To be honest, I don't know. I'll tell you before I do it. This was just something that came up, so we talked about it, but I need to look at, you know, I didn't know if you guys were gonna be like, no, we don't want to limit it at all, and then it didn't matter, but I'll look through the ordinances and see how it fits in, and I'll let you know in the next meeting or so.
Good. Anything else, Allison?
Nope, that's all I got.
Okay, moving on, department head reports. Bob, we'll start with you.
Right now, I'm working on the foundation or the flat work for that new shed in the back and the dog kennel that we're gonna put back there. We should be pouring next week sometime, weather depending. And then, I got a couple bids still coming, trying to come back for some road repairs. They haven't come in yet. Everybody's kind of going crazy right now, trying to get stuff done for winter, so I'm waiting on them. That's all I have right now.
Hey, question for you on the building in the back there that you put in. You mentioned you're making an area for like keeping dogs or something that are stray that you captured.
That was something that the chief was wanting to put back there, a spot for two dog
Okay,
kennels.
are
or
you
two
including that in the pour that you're doing, or is that something afterwards?
I'm gonna pour the slab and then we'll either drill or we'll make it anchor down to that slab so
Okay.
it can be changed.
Okay, the reason I ask, I've got a bunch of chain link fence that my son and I came across out at our farm, so if you need some chain link fencing, you walk to it, or it
Okay.
may just be easier to get new. It's not like you're doing 180 feet of fence around there.
Okay.
So I have a
we'll talk
question.
about-
If we have a place for dogs, aren't we gonna run into maintaining them and having somebody there and making sure that they're cared for?
It's clean.
Well,
So police dogs usually stay with their handler,
no,
right?
it's not a police dog. This is
Oh,
just
okay.
stray. Yeah,
Rescue type.
yeah.
Oh.
Say they find a dog on the road, and
Yeah.
and I think it's a short-term residency. It's not a long-term hotel for a dog. It's, hopefully we keep it there. They find the chip on it, or somebody reports it's missing.
Well, and hopefully if we start to get animal control services back from the county too, it will be less important for us to have an area. But I do think it's probably, especially under current circumstances, a good idea to have a space for them.
Yeah, Greg, do you have any comments, or Steve? Either one of you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it's a temporary thing, so if we find a stray dog, that way we have a temporary place to hold them instead of letting them run around in the station or sitting in the back of our patrol car while we get a hold of either animal control or open door sanctuary. So it's a temporary thing. It's not that they're gonna be there for days and we're gonna have to feed them and all that stuff.
But even think
That
from
helps answer your question.
if you found a dog and you found the owner or figured out who the owner was, you could keep it back there until they came up to pick it up too.
Correct. And then we also have that chip reader that, speeds that process up as well. So
Great.
So is this indoor or outdoor or both?
I believe
Outdoor.
I believe it's outdoor. I don't know, Bob, if you can elaborate on that a little better.
Yes, it's gonna be an outdoor.
This is adjacent when we talked with this shed that they're getting, the storage building, it's going to be on the backside of the parking lot out there where the police park. And they're just going to pour a little additional adjacent pad to what is the size of that building? Is that 12 by 24, Bob?
12 by 20 is what I was told.
Okay, 12 by 20. Okay.
The slab's gonna be like 14 by 24, give it a little bit of room around the outside edge, and then we're pouring up about a 10 by 8 slab for the kennel area.
Okay.
Is there going to be protection for the animals? I mean, if it's the middle of winter? And the dog's
As
out,
of right now, it's gonna be fenced unless the chief has some other idea. He didn't tell me yet.
I suspect any dog that gets found by the Burnsville Police Department won the lottery. So
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sure if it's cold or raining, it's gonna be like in Frank's bed with him. So snuggling. So I think, but yeah, we could add some. We probably should put some shade or something out there. Like a tarp is the wrong word, but they make those covers that look a little nicer. So if it's sunny or whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
Somewhere if it's raining for their feet,
Yeah.
at least kept dry.
Little shed roof or a little dog house.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Anything else, Bob, or is that it?
That's all I have right now.
Okay. All right. Steve, turn it over to you, Sergeant.
All right. Well, I got some notes here. I'm gonna add some stuff too. We had a national night out a couple weeks ago. Huge turnout, probably the biggest we've had yet. We went last year from, I believe, 200 hot dogs to this year. We added 100 more, and all the hot dogs went. We had a little bit more activities for people. We had Northwest Tow come out. They did a pretty good job of chopping up the car and towing it and showing people how to do rescue with it. So I think everybody had a good time. Long waited. We got our flock cameras installed now. We have 4 of them throughout the city. Our representative came out, and I believe all of us except for 2, maybe every other officer showed up, and we got training on it to show everything, all the tricks that it can do, and very, very informational. We've already used it, I believe, twice now since we've had it. So I think it's going to be a useful tool that we got given to us.
Weren't you able to utilize that for up on lower here by 30? Somebody had an accident and they ran into the flock camera pole itself and bent it.
Yes, there was a gentleman. He ended up, we didn't know what happened at first. After further investigation on it, we ended up finding out that he had a diabetic episode. He did hit it. He does have full coverage insurance and everything. He came back up to the station and he was feeling out of it. So he went home, and that's how bad his sugar was dropping. He went home. He lives off of somewhere, and went down there and I guess replenished himself. And he said he was sick for the whole weekend. And when he felt better, he came up there and he admitted, he said, I hit it. I didn't know what to do. I was having a diabetic episode, and it's all going to be taken care of. So we're good on that. But that camera showed us exactly where he went throughout our city. We saw him on Lower Burns Mill. Then we found him on Upper Burns Mill. So we were able to identify him through the Zoom cameras on where exactly he lived.
And then you were able to additionally, I believe, use one of the flock cameras that Jefferson County has at the intersection of W and MM to determine which way he went, or from what Frank says, at least there was an additional sighting there. So
correct. We used Jefferson County has 2 cameras. One, it's over on MM. I can't think offhand what street it is, but it's right by the Phillips 66, kind of close to Slinger's restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It's right close near there, and that caught him going down MM, so that gave us more to go off of, and still camera photos.
Right. So that just shows the power of these flock cameras and the benefit in being a flock member. You get access to other flock members' cameras and to do searches in a situation like this. So you had somebody come in and try to kidnap a child or something, and you knew what color the car was and a couple of numbers of the license plate. You really get some good locational information on that rather quickly too. I think you
absolutely
guys were on it and right away. So
in any say if a theft happened of a trailer or farm equipment or something like that, and it was taken, and they said it was, and they could say it was a black truck, and they happened between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. We could go on our cameras and put between 1 and 4 a.m. and we can put a black truck or a trailer or farm equipment, and it'll identify all those and the state plate and everything like that, and show up and give us which way, for the most part, give us which way they went out. Not saying where they went after they got off our cameras, but that gives us information we can put out of, be on the lookout to other police departments that something was just stolen from our vicinity, and to be on the lookout for it if they see it.
That's great.
So, let's see. Chief Frank attended a Jefferson County Law Enforcement Leaders Meeting in Hillsborough. It was sponsored by Sheriff Marshak with Jefferson County, and they included all the chief police from the municipalities in the entire county. I'm not exactly sure what was spoke about there. We're still planning for the Shop with the Hero program. Recently, we got a Spirit World Church. They're joining with us along with Spring Hill Church, and they're going to be taking care of the food baskets for the families. Right now, we still have donations that are coming in from people at church and some businesses. I believe last year we had around 100 families. Hopefully we have more that take advantage of it this year. I do believe that we have we have for the families, because I think some rolled over from last year, if I'm not mistaken. It's a big deal with these families. They're very appreciative of what we do for them, and that these kids are excited to know that they're going to get some presents and food for the family. So it's kind of neat to see when we do our drive-through this year. I believe we're actually going, and since COVID's over, we're going to actually get to shop with them this year at Walmart and let them pick out their own toys instead of giving them a gift card. So that's going to be fun. We're starting to plan our parenting seminar for teenage drug and alcohol abuse seminar. Right now, the tentative timing right now is for March 2023. I know last year we did it at Spring Hill, and we had a pretty good turnout of parents showing up and knowing what to look for and what's going on with the younger kids nowadays and stuff possibly they could be hiding from us and different signs to tell and sit down with them and talk. Chief attended a Zoom meeting sponsored by Jefferson County Drug Prevention Coalition that was directed specifically to law enforcement agencies within the county. Again, I'm not sure exactly what was spoke about in that meeting. I'm sure it was fun. And we just had an officer attend a full day of training for our Regis and our Mules computer system. I believe we have to get trained on the Mules every 2 years to keep up to date with our certification with them. So we sent him out. And last but not least, this month we switch patches. I don't know if Sergeant Kraft can get on and show his patch that he's wearing. Can you show me, Greg? Is Greg still there?
I see him still on, but he's muted and
All right. Well, Chief Frank had gone out and he bought us patches, and it's our badge, and it's a pink badge for breast cancer awareness. So all the officers have one of those and are wearing it right now for the month of October. So let's see. I believe,
and I understand you can purchase those patches.
you can purchase the patches. They are $5 a piece. I believe Chief has 100 of them. I know all the officers get one, and then it's $5. I'm not sure exactly. I'm pretty sure he's donating the money back. I'm not sure exactly where he's donating the money to right now, but yes, they are up for sale. If any of you guys collect patches for Burns Mill.
great. Very good.
Greg, are you on yet?
We'll check back with him before the end of the meeting. So
All right, we'll try. We'll try to see. So as of right now, that is all I got, guys.
great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Steve, you're coming to the closed session, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Moving on to commission reports. Do we have any commission reports, Allison?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, then moving on to mayor's report. Two things I wanted to mention here. First of all, I got contacted by the Kiwanis Club last week. They're interested in doing an outreach program here in the city of Burns Mill. And Kiwanis is really involved with children and helping them and taking them from bad situations and that. And I told them I thought that was a good idea, but they wanted us to sort of both Frank and I to join the Kiwanis Club and become charter members of this. And I told them from that perspective, we really do already have our Shop with a Hero program. You know, I know the police department keeps track of the children through the churches throughout the year, and we really do have a nice outreach program that we do at the end of the year here for the kids. So I offered to them they could participate with us and help contribute to that program if they'd like. But so if you hear anything about the Kiwanis being around and wanting to organize, you know, once again, if they'd like to get more community involvement, I think that's great. But both Frank and I were somewhat hesitant to join that, because then you get pressures from the Lions Club and the JCs and the Rotary and all those other clubs to, well, how come you're not joining here either? So, you know,
Right.
there's only so much bandwidth we got.
My apologies, guys. I was on the phone.
That's
You guys
great.
wanted to see the patch? Is that what you were
Yeah,
saying?
sure. Yeah.
So these are I don't know how clear it is.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I've seen. Huh,
Very nice.
Yeah. But
Well, that's great. Well, thank you
Thank you.
for showing us, Greg. Okay, and the other thing I wanted to mention, we had an incident. I wanted to thank Steve and Bob for both responding to it. It was involved Wayne Bonneker. He was moving his combines and his harvesting equipment from down at Frank's and Burns Mill Road all the way up here, I guess, back to his farm over off of 30 in Burnsville, or W in Burnsville Road. He had the combines are rather large, and they didn't have any type of lead truck or something helping, herd traffic, so they just got out in the road. They waited till about 10 in the morning on I think, Steve, was it a Monday or Tuesday, something like that?
Yeah, it was, what's today?
Yeah.
Today's Wednesday.
So,
Yeah, it was Monday that they did it, and
yeah,
I talked to Wayne Bonneker, and I gave him one of my business cards and told him anytime he has something like that, it doesn't matter when they have to do it, that we usually have 2 cars on that he can call either one of the duty phone numbers or up at the police department, and they'll get a hold of us, and we'll make sure wherever they're going, we can shut off both ends. If it's going to be 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it's better than doing any property damage. And
and it was
he agreed.
it's more a safety thing there too. I know they about slid off the road and turned the combine over up by our driveway because it's rather steep there, but they coming around that S turn, I had heard them coming, and I went up there to look, and the cars having a backup through the S turn because it's rather narrow there anyway. So and I talked to Wayne too, and said, nobody has a problem with them doing their farm work, and that we certainly understand that, but please contact us and let us know, and we'll make sure everybody's safe, because and what if you have an emergency vehicle responding? I don't even know how that would work if you had a fire truck or an ambulance responding to something that might be a challenge.
Yeah, we talked about that, so I told him for now on just to contact us, and he was very apologetic and said that he would give us a call if he needed to move anything, if it was going a long distance. I said even if it's only going to take 5 minutes, I'm like, I'd rather us be safe than sorry, and he agreed. So
yeah, it's all about safety for our citizens and making sure that nothing bad happens out there. So anyhow, once again, thank you, Steve, for helping out with that. And that's all I have for mayor's report. So moving on to item 16, public forum. Amy, has there been anything submitted for questions for the board?
No, there has not.
All right. Then moving on to item 17, request for closed session. I believe we need to have a closed session. So can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn to closed session for the purpose of closed meeting, closed record, closed vote pursuant to RSMO 610.021, 1 legal, 2 real estate, and 3 personnel.
second,
Galen,
Aye.
Glenn,
Yes.
Cindy,
aye.
Mary.
Aye,
All right. Thank you all for joining tonight. Have a good
thank you.
All right.
Everybody
all.
later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.